On a small like a cabin about 2 hours outside TGT. Nothing fancy, just a quiet place on a Kent's office, rite, and stay far away from people who think they're in charge of everyone else's lives. Unfortunately, the like community recently formed an HOA. And from day on, it is clear exactly what kind of HOA it is. Their president, let's call her Karen, treated the neighborhood like her personal kingdom. Random finesse. Made up rules. Inspections that somehow always happened hence felt bored. Kept had done. Paid had as legally required. Ignored everything else. Until on Saturday afternoon. That day, wasn't alone at the cabin. Had a guest. And not just any guest, the state attorney general. Before you think this is some movie nonsense, let me explain. I work as a consultant on regulatory compliance. Through a mutual professional contact, it being asked to provide documentation related to HOA overreach compliance across the state. Turns out our like HOA is already on the attorney general's radar. So I decided to meet privately at my cabin to review evidence. Quiet. Discreet. No attention. Or so I thought. I era sitting at the dining table, papers spread out, emails, fine notices, recorded voice emails. The attorney general had his jacket off, baggy resting clearly on the table beside a legal folder. That's when I heard aggressive knocking. Not normal knocking. Taking that size on his place. Bank. 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 From it. I'm not expecting onion. The knocking turned into rattling. Then a voice shouted. HOA inspection. Open the door. The attorney general looked up slowly. Did she just say inspection? Usig head. Yeah. This is the part I didn't mention. Before I could even stand up, I heard a loud crack. The door burst open. She had forged it. Karen stormed in like she was riding a drug horse, clipboard in hand, sunglasses still on her head. Okne öte, she snapped. Unauthorized meeting. Aren't you about gatherings? She stopped mid-sentence. Looked at the table. The documents. Then the badge. Then the man calmly standing up in front of her. The color drained from her face. The attorney general spoke first. Ma'am, he said evenly, can you explain how you just broke into a private residence? Karen looked nervously. Oh, this is just an HOA inspection. I have authority over all like properties. He picked up his badge and held it up. My name is Attorney General's name. I am the State Attorney General. The silence is deafening. Karen stammered. Oh, I didn't know. That, he interrupted, does not make it legal. She immediately switched tone. I was just following HOA bills. I finally spoke. Each bill allows forged entry. She ignored me and tried to resolve. There are complaints about illegal meetings and possible zoning violations. The Attorney General raised an eyebrow. And your response is breaking and entering. She started backing toward the door. I think I should leave and come back it. No, he said calmly. You should stay. He turned to me. Old you mean calling the sheriff? Karen panicked. This is unnecessary. I can resolve this internally. The Attorney General smiled slightly. HOAs don't get to resolve felonies internally. 10 minutes later, the sheriff arrived. Karen tried on a last move. I'm the HOA president. The sheriff looked at the broken door, then at the attorney general. And you're trespassing. She was escorted outside the hill. Neeche boss packed through their windows. But it didn't end there. Over the next weeks, everything unraveled. The attorney general launched a full investigation. Turns out Karen had been issuing illegal fines, conducting fake inspections, and threatening homeowners with liens she had no authority to enforce. Multiple residents came forward once they realized someone was finally listening. The HOA board resigned. Karen was personally charged with trespassing, property damage, and abuse of authority. The HOA was dissolved. And my job in. It's beautiful again. No door. No locks. No HOA. Sometimes I still think about the look on her face when she realized she'd walked into the worst possible job on the lake. Moral of the story. If you're going to trip your eye into someone's home, make sure you know who's sitting at the table inside.